Welcome to this video, and today I will share some deep personal insights on my own path of love. I really felt in my heart that it's time to go to the camera and to speak about my own journey. And I know that it is important for some people out there to really listen to that, because it's not so much about me, about Anna-Lena and my experience, but I always see myself as someone who's experiencing something that so many people go through. I know that in my story there's so many gems hidden also for other people, and that's why I always feel deeply moved to switch on the camera and to speak and to share. Sharing is caring, and I know that many of you out there can draw inspiration and insight from what I share. So I invite you to listen to my own path of love. Yes. So let's travel into my childhood and let's look at the 6-year-old child that I was. Yeah. And what I noticed going back in time was that I was a very loving child. I had this deep sense of compassion inside of me. I was so much connected to helping people, to helping animals. And whenever, for example, a child in school was bullied, I deeply felt inside of myself, this is so wrong. Yeah, we shouldn't behave like that. Humans should not behave like that. So there was this deep intuition about what is a loving behavior, and really the sense of what is love that comes from the heart. I felt it as a child, and I also always wanted to give that. And I could also feel when it was not there, when people were suffering. And I think this wish and this path of being there for others and understanding their suffering and helping them to alleviate and overcome their suffering, this was really there from early childhood onwards. And it's until today a massive drive of everything I do, not only in work, but also throughout my whole existence. Yeah. So, and this was what happens to many people, I guess, because as children, we are really naturally connected to our heart. We are really naturally connected to our intuition. It's later on that we lose this natural sense of what is right and what is wrong. So let's go forward in my path. Let's move to the early 20s age. And I was studying physics. I went to university. And being honest with you, this took me off my heart's path. It took me out of my heart and it took me into my brain, into my analytical thinking when I was studying. It's quite obvious, I think, because physics is a very tough subject. You have to understand a lot. You need to comprehend formulas. You need to read and understand a lot of books, theoretical content. So it's a massive analytical processing that is happening studying such a subject. And what I would notice is that I would more and more lose the connection with my heart and with my love. And it would show, for example, that I felt less connected with myself. I felt more numb. I was disconnected from my body. I wouldn't spend so much time anymore to do art, which I had always loved before, or to listen to music and all these beautiful things that fill the heart and that ignite the creativity. I would kind of withdraw more and more from them and go even more and more into my head. And I know that this happens out there to so many people. I don't know how many percent, but I would bet it's like 70% or so of people in this world that live more in their mind than in their heart. And this leads to so much suffering, to so much anxiety, to so much disconnection from ourselves and from others. Yes, so what happened then was I got married, which is, of course, a beautiful thing to have a partner and to get married. And I was also really happy about this and about this beautiful relationship. However, I would also notice a very common thing, which is there in every relationship. And this is I would play out my unresolved patterns with my partner. So there was like, I would easily go into blaming him when I wasn't satisfied. I would easily go into projecting stuff on him. And deep down, I wasn't really happy, but it wasn't so much about him. It was about my own life and the way I lived my life. And by that time, I wasn't aware that the key to a fulfilling life and to feel love and to feel loved is not in the other person, it's in us. But by this time I was married, I didn't recognize that. And ultimately, my path also led to divorce, and it led to my old life falling apart. Yeah, that was like more or less 10 years, 9 years ago, when suddenly all these things that were in my life, all this living from the head and suppressing things and not following the heart, my whole system, my soul couldn't cope with that anymore. So all these things, they had to fall apart. And I was leaving the job, I was leaving the marriage, I was leaving, I would say 80% of my old life really behind. It was, being honest with you, the most painful thing ever. It was the deepest, darkest process so far in my life to, yeah, to really get out of that. It was a massive confrontation with deep fears. But anyhow, it was underneath it all a calling from myself to come home to my heart. And the major takeaway of that was at some point I realized I gotta follow my heart's path no matter what. This was in 2018, 2019. I realized I have to follow my heart's path no matter what. And this opened the door to the most beautiful, magical things. And this is my core message today that I really want you to take away from that. It is in your heart, this key to creating what you really, really love in life. And you gotta follow your heart in order to make all this magic happen. So, what does it mean, for example? Since I was quite young, I had this dream of living in south of Europe. It had always a massive attraction for me, the vibe, the people, this warmth and the climate, the nature, and all these things. But I had suppressed this wish because I was living in my mind, and my mind wouldn't see an option to make this happen. So only after I learned again to live from my heart and to connect back with my heart, only then it would be possible to make it happen. And then actually I was living in Portugal and had the most beautiful time because I was following my heart, but it couldn't have come from my mind. So following your heart's path, your heart really knows what you love most. Your heart really knows where are your people, your soulmates? Where are the places that you need to go to? What are the projects, the jobs that you need to engage in order to be really, really happy, fulfilled, and to have this big sense of, wow, I'm so filled. My love is so high, higher than ever before. And the connections with myself and with other people, they are so filled with a deep sense of love. Yeah, and isn't that what we all want in the end? I believe that there is a massive longing in most people to experience love on the deepest level, not only in romantic relationships, but wherever they go, wherever they go. And imagine how beautiful is that is when you feel wherever I go, I feel so much love. And I tell you, this is the message of deep love. This is definitely possible. And it's probably much more possible than you think at the moment, because most people still have maybe attained some let's say some level of love in their lives, but then there is a limit. But what if this would actually be limitless? So this is the invitation of deep love, to learn how to overcome the suffering and the living from the head and all the projection and the drama and the trauma that plays out in relationships. Because also in our love, there is the key to resolve that. In ourselves, it's always pointing back to ourselves, and also in other people. Because once we have really resolved something in us and we have connected back to our heart and to love, this is pouring out into the world. And this is a gift for other people, because this gives them also the freedom and the energy and this let's say this field of love that they can finally relax into, where they can open because they feel they are not judged anymore or blamed anymore. And this creates a compassion and a safety and a peace for them, so that they can also unfold and heal and, yeah, overcome their struggle. So when we connect to love and when we love deeper and deeper, this has such a massive impact in our own life and in other people. And this is really beautiful and magical. And I really wish everyone in this world to experience that. And that's why I think it was kind of my choice, from a very high knowledge in me, from a high intelligence in me, that I had to create deep love also, not only in my personal life, but also as an opportunity for other people to connect to that energy and to also some understanding, some insights that come along with it, and to bring this into the world and to share and to create this together. Yes. So if you feel in my story there's something that touches you in your heart, where you feel, wow, there's something that resonates with me, I feel drawn to that experience, and I want also this magical unfolding of the deepest love in my life, then I invite you to walk this path. And you don't have to walk it alone. I can guide you on that path. And the opportunity that is open for you now is the Essence of Love, which is my guidance for you. And you'll receive one-on-one work, deep one-on-one work, and also a lot of video trainings. I really invite you to check this opportunity out, to let it sink in and feel if your heart is really now calling you back to tap deeper into this energy of love and into making the deepest love possible happen in your life. So all information on that are on my website. You find the link here. And thank you. Thank you for listening. It was a great pleasure to share that with you and to speak about it. And I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of the day.